If you ever wonder how chassis get their holes, some holes are just actually drilled, and then you can use one of them step drillers. You can use these, they call them punches. They're two halves made by Greeley. I don't have any of that stuff now, but this square hole in the location where it is away from the edges, this standard nibbling tool would only work if I was cutting it with the layout on the inside. Okay, and this is called a nibbling tool, and this one lost its spring. So to get the die to lift back up, sometimes it gets jammed. I have to lift it up. I have a better nibbling tool, and this one's made probably in Switzerland or somewhere. I think it used to have the name on it. Well, anyway, this is what I use, and you can cut from the top using this. The best way is to put a round hole in each corner and then work from there, and I didn't do that. I sort of did that, but I was so afraid of going over these lines. And if you notice, this aluminum box comes with like a contact paper on it, and you can lay your lines out on it, and then when you're done, you peel it off, and this way, as you're working with the box, you don't scratch it. It's a pretty cool idea. Okay, and I guess you could use a laser to lay the holes out. That's maybe why the laser cuts it out. Unfortunately, I don't have a laser at the moment. My laser's out at the repair facility. I take that back. I don't even have one. So anyway, I have to cut this out. Now, once I get this giant transformer, which is sitting back here, on here, all right, I have the 4 holes laid out and punched. Once I have it on there, then I can flip it over and get an idea what space I have left. And this is a matter of putting 8 pounds of crap in a 5 pound box. Okay, I might need to put a divider in here and mount parts on the divider. I have no clue on how to lay any of this out because this transformer is so hard to work with. Okay, so it's a matter of cutting this hole out, putting the transformer in, bolting it in, and flipping it over and getting an idea of what room I have, because I still have to put 2 transformers, 2 tubes up here, and I have to fit these controls in somewhere, and then where's my choke? This has to go in there somewhere. So it might not be possible, but I don't quit. You know, I've been down this road before where I bought the wrong size box. But see, in the old days, it would just be a matter of taking a ride up to Lashins in Denville. It's about an hour ride from my house, you know, with traffic. And I'd make a mistake and I'd just go buy the next size, whichever direction I needed to go in. Okay, but everything's online now. There's no going to the local guy and getting any of this stuff, you know. And I definitely, my last video was called Measure 3 Times and Order Wrong, and I guess I did. You know, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I think part of it was this should be an inch wider, and I was going to mount the transformer in a different direction, and then I have more room. But I have to mount it this far in from the outer edges for strength for the box, and I also have to have room for this AC input more than the octal socket. The octal socket that the outputs the voltages now. That could be mounted on the outside too. There's so many ways you could do this, but I don't know what happened. Okay, I'm getting older, and I know I measured it. And in this transformer, it's not like you could pick it up in your hand and hold the ruler up against it, and even getting the pattern and the 4 holes that this mounts with. I measured it more than 4 times each. Okay, and then I laid these dot spots for the 4 bolts, and I measured and double checked them. I got the caliper out. Okay, I just kept going over and over and double checking it, and now it's a matter of I should have put 4 holes, 1 in each corner, and I did, but then I got cutting, and I thought I'd be able to make the turns with this. You know, and it's doing okay. It's a lot better than if you were to build something like this and not have a nibbling tool. In the old days, you do a bunch of 1/8" holes all the way around, and then you take a die making file. It comes in a set. Sears used to sell them. Let me show you that. I shouldn't mention tools without showing you what a die maker's file set looks like. Here's my set. This is Sears. They're Craftsman, and they're all different sized, all different shapes of files, and they're made for cutting, for making dies. Okay, and I think it even says die making on here somewhere. Yeah, die maker's files. Okay, did that show up? Okay, and yeah, you drill a series of 1/8" holes all the way around, and then you sit there with a round file. Would be this one here. I want to grab the right one. All right, that's around half round. Where's the round one? Here it is. See how tiny that is? That's round. And then you play connect the dots. And my dad and me used to use steel chassis to make our radios. And then it was a long process. Now I get anxious when I do stuff because I remember how fast something like this would go if I had access to other machines, which I don't anymore. You know, in the old days, I'd put 4 holes in and then use a Greeley punch and tighten it up, and the 2 halves come together. I'd have 4 giant holes in here, and then it would be a matter of using the nibbling tool between the holes. I don't have those anymore. I sold those off. I never thought I'd get back into tubes again, and I just have to go back and do it the old way. You know, and that's the way you're going to have to do it. Drill a series of holes, and then play connect the dots with a file, if you even have the file. At least I have the file. And they tell you don't file aluminum. It works. Okay. What you don't want to do with aluminum is to use it on a grinder wheel, because the stone is very not porous. It is sort of porous, but it's very fine. And if you start grinding something on a grinder on a good wheel, the aluminum gets embedded in the stone, and then people that have to use that grinder, they'll be pissed at you. Okay, but for these files, these are basically, they self-clean, and they're probably starting to get dull because they had a lot of use on them. And I built, I don't know if it's thousands of projects, but these get used a lot. You know, a die maker set. You know, my dad was a tool and die maker. Yeah, he used to get upset if you called him a machinist, but he was a tool and die maker. And the last few months of his job, they actually put him on making a die, and it lasted longer than the die they had in the machine. They sent it out and had it made. They wouldn't let my father make the die. It made like 10 pieces and then it cracked. It broke in half. So they sent it back to the company. Company fixed it again. They sent the die in. It went a few pieces and it broke again. My father built the die, and it went part of the day, and it broke. It turned out the guy loaded the machine with stainless steel instead of aluminum. He was a new guy, and the reason he did it was the other people were starting to quit. The company got bought out. My dad talked to the girl in the front office, and she talked my dad into retiring. He wanted to stay. My mom had died, and my dad was at retirement, and he wanted to stay as long as he could, because that's where his friends were. And then the girl talked him into retiring at the correct age, and it was, for him it was 65, and then he only lasted a few months, and then he died. So it is what it is at this point. But you know, I got the hole started, and it's no fun. I'm starting to get a blister on my hand from this thing. But this is really made to go in straight lines, and in a curl of aluminum forms. I think I showed you this once before, but that's where we're at. And until I get that transformer sitting in here, I know I have enough space for this AC connector. I know I have enough space for the octal plug. But do we have enough space for, if I could put the 2 tubes like this way, then I'll have space for the choke and possibly those 2 controls. I don't know. You know, I don't know if I can, I know I can hide under the transformer one of these strips. alongside in there. They'll probably sit up in here. I probably have, it's probably doable. I won't say if anybody can do it, it'll be me. I'm not promising anything. You know, like I said, I measured what I thought I needed. And I really, when I pictured this coming, I really pictured it wider. And I goofed somewhere. You know, I don't know where. If I go back on the website, it won't help. And this thing doesn't have the corner brackets. I find in the frame here, corner brackets. Let me show you. Oh, here's one here. This has corner brackets that are spot welded in. And this aluminum is thicker. Even though this is a small box, this is really well made. And that's the old school. But this was made for back possibly tube days. This one I built in this little proto board on top. I did this before they sold the proto unit with a power supply in it, which I do have now. But this gave me 5 volts and 12 to do my projects, my op-amp projects, digital projects. I tried it here. Whenever I had a chip that wasn't working right, I put it on this, and I had a couple. I had a mercury switch I could tilt. Mercury switches don't bounce. Look it up. And I would work on the IC and understand the IC, and then put it back in the circuit, figure out what the hell I did wrong. I think that's it. All right, that's it.